You joining us now, the best-selling author, Walter Isaacson, who wrote an authorized biography of Elon Musk. Walter, good morning to you.
Good morning.
In your book, Walter, you wrote that Elon Musk at one point called President Trump a con man. He said he had deep disdain for him as well. And then it goes and he spends about $250 million helping him get reelected. He's now going to have an office in the White House. What changed?
Well, I do think that he indeed called him a charlatan and a con man. Elon Musk said it reminds him of his own father. And indeed, as you know from the book, he has a very complex relationship with his father. I think what changed is 4 or 5 things. 1, the COVID crackdown and regulation. Number 2, Biden not inviting him to the electric vehicle summit in the White House. Number 3, his daughter, Vivian Jenner, transitioned, and Elon Musk thought she had caught the woke mind virus. So there are many things that went into this, but you have to see, as you saw in the book, how this has been building up for his entire life since he was a lonely kid in the corner of the bookstore reading those X-Men comics and sort of having these visions of saving humanity.
Walter, you've said in the past that you think that Elon Musk is going to try and do to the federal government what he's done at SpaceX, what he's done at X and Tesla as well. How does that look? How is that going to work?
Boy, you know, in the book, I go over and over again, and I think it explains what's going to happen in the federal government, where he overreaches a bit, where he says, I'm going to cut 80% of the workers at Twitter before he turned it into X, where he decides to have surges of people to try to stack a Starship rocket within a week. And he believes that you really have to question every requirement. And you're looking at all these federal requirements, even requirements they're suing him about. And he just believes you start there, you simplify, and he's going to go in with a chainsaw. There's going to be a lot of rubble. But if you look at the progression in the book, besides the rubble, there's an enormous amount of impact he is going to have, I think.
Walter, they are 2 men with big personalities, Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Yeah. Do we think this is a relationship that is going to endure, or do we suspect at some point there will be a falling out?
Well, I think it endures easily for a year, in which time you'll see the Musk method that I describe in the book be applied to the federal government. The big difference is Elon Musk has done this at Twitter. He's done it at SpaceX. He's done it at Tesla. And now he's going to try to do the exact same thing. We know the playbook in the federal government, but he does not own the federal government. He kind of owned all those companies, or at least totally controlled them. And what will matter is when he tries to do it, when he tries to cut, NASA contracts in Alabama or post offices somewhere, and the congressmen say, no, we're appropriating that money. How much will Donald Trump stand up for him? And I suspect for at least a year, Trump will, because Trump understands Musk's operating style and he likes it.
Walter Isaacson literally wrote the book.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.